If you are trying to build a new team or credibility as a leader, making friends with your team is not going to help. Don't get me wrong, a healthy environment for a team or a healthy team culture is crucial to ensure that you're building engagement. But that doesn't mean making friends with everybody in the office or making your team feel like you're their best buddy. Why not? What's the big deal? I want people to do what I say. I need them to like me, so they'll do what I say. Well, in my experience, friendship and leadership really blurs the boundaries. It also makes it extremely difficult if you need to have difficult conversations with an individual who thinks that you're their best friend. There's also an unequal power dynamic. So while friendship promotes closeness, it's important to remember there is a distinct power imbalance between someone who's a team member and someone who's a manager or a leader. Trying to be friends can also undermine your authority and lead to an expectation from team members that you're going to endorse anything that they raise, you're going to agree with their opinions, and you're going to put into place their ideas, creating a level of expectation that is quite difficult to unravel if you are blurring those boundaries. You could also end up accepting a level of behaviour or casualness that perhaps is not entirely comfortable if you are their leader versus their colleague, and then making it really hard to call them out on performance or behavioural issues. And then you do call them out and you lose their trust because they believe that you were friends and why are you telling me off? I thought we were mates. You don't want to do this. Also, what we often find is that if we're coming to work as a team member, we don't expect our manager or leader to be our best friend. I know for me, I think that respect is earned, and it's not earned by being my best mate. I expect my leader to give me advice and provide a bit of direction for the way forward. So while it's nice to have people that like you and feel like you're around a group of people that you actually enjoy spending time with, as a leader, being a friend is going to make your life a lot harder in the long run. Also, if you have people in your team that actually really want to get noticed in terms of their development and their performance, having a leader that's everybody's friend and not necessarily respected in a professional sense can demotivate these individuals that are actually seeking some more development from you. If your manager is like your friend and someone that you can have a laugh with, share information about your personal life, and you really like them, but you really also want to progress in your career, how do you know that they're providing you with the honest feedback that you need to actually perform at your best? Will they just be telling you that you're doing a great job because they're your friend? Would you trust them to give you the hard truth and not just what you want to hear about your own skills? What about their reputation? If everyone can see that this leader is friends with their team, does that mean if you're in a larger organisation that everyone outside of that team respects them and their recommendations of their own members of the team? So for those individuals that might want to progress, if this manager who's really friendly with everybody and knows their team as friends recommends one of their friends to somebody else in the organisation, is that person going to take that seriously? Is that friendship that you have with your team, if you're this manager, actually going to harm not only your reputation, but the reputation of your team members? Okay, so you want to build credibility with your team. And I don't know, but I feel like friendship is not actually the answer. So what do you do instead? Now, spoiler alert, I have found that it does take a little bit of time if you want to build real credibility. But there are definitely things that you can be doing to help. Firstly, show your team that you have the knowledge and experience to lead them effectively. You might do this through really straightforward ways, like structuring how you interact with them on a daily basis. So if you have a regular morning meeting with your team, be really organised. Have really clear objectives of what you want to cover and what you want to resolve in that meeting. Show them that you have a plan, even if it's just a plan for the day in terms of what you need them to focus on. This helps build credibility in your leadership and that you know what direction you want the team to go in and that you aren't just letting things unfold. Another thing to do is to have really clear communication. So set expectations, give regular updates, and be really transparent in any decision making. If you're unsure and communicating conflicting information or using more casual language such as, I'm not really sure what's going on, or making decisions and not looping anyone in on what's been decided and how it's going to unfold, it creates a bit of chaos. Remembering to keep everyone updated is time consuming, and it's a challenge to keep on top of everything when you have a lot of things going on in your day. But one of the things that helps me out with this is that beside each appointment that I have in my diary, I'll have notes. So when I get to that appointment, I will have been jotting down in the notes in my calendar anything that relates to that particular conversation. And then when it comes to the meeting, I can just open up the notes, and then everything that I need to remember to talk about or cover off is there ahead of me, and I don't have to think about it. I do this with my regular meetings with my team members too. So if I think of something during the day that I want to raise with them the next day, I'll jot it down in my notes for that meeting that I'm having with the team. Because I've found if I just communicate out when I think of something, it creates a bit of uncertainty and it just creates more noise for everybody in their inbox and in their messages about something else that they need to remember. Whereas if I go into the meeting and I say, okay, these are the things that we need to cover off today, then it's really organised and clear. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Nikki and I've been in leadership for 17 years. I've gone from leading just 2 people to leading leaders on multiple locations. And if you are getting some value from this video and want to hear more on leadership, please subscribe to my channel. Now, leading by example also really helps you build credibility. Be someone that you want your team to look up to and emulate. If you want your team to be more professional, then check yourself. How are you behaving and acting and dressing that emulates being more professional? You need to be doing what you're saying that you want others to do before anyone's going to be looking at you for advice. If you're being really casual and informal with your language and you're asking your team to be really respectful and formal with their language, it's going to be really hard for you to really implement this. If you're acting like everybody's best friend and telling everybody all your little annoyances about your life, then it's going to be quite hard to tell them to all stop talking and mucking around all day, because that's the vibe that you've already put out there and showed that it was okay. Another tip to build credibility is to empower your team. Give your team ownership and trust them to make the right decision. It fosters development and also helps build their contribution more as they feel more involved in what's happening around them. It also makes the team feel more connected to the purpose of what it is you're all trying to achieve, which should in turn build a team of trust and responsibility. Now, in your journey of building credibility, obviously delivering results is going to be a key part of this. If you aren't showing up with something that is actually achieving a goal or getting some success on the board, it is going to be hard for you to lead your team. At the end of the day, results really matter. If you can focus on achieving goals and deliver on actions, it will set that expectation up for your team to follow suit. It'll show your team that you know how to get results and will build credibility in your leadership. I'm not going to lie, building credibility really does take time. But by focusing on these key elements around clear communication, leading by example, empowering your team, and delivering results, you will gain their respect and trust and position yourself as their leader. If, however, you focus on being liked and a friend to the team, your team probably won't respect you in a professional sense, and it can impact on the performance across your team. And how much do you really want to have that difficult conversation with your team member who also happens to be your best buddy? That is definitely not my ideal. Difficult conversations are challenging enough as a leader without adding friendship into the mix. In fact, I have done another video on how to have difficult conversations as a leader, which you can click onto right now on your screen. Thank you very much for watching.